Yep.
Jack's horizontal.
Yeah. I actually am very sleepy today. But luckily, if you had have asked me what I had for breakfast this morning,
Go on.
ask me.
What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Well, funny you should ask, mate.
Jackinia.
I had a bowl of high-protein yogurt with the lowest sugar granola on the market.
Cura.
Cura, that's it. It happens to be on the table.
Beautiful.
Coincidence.
Beautiful packaging.
It's also on our screen. They're actually jumped on board as our very first sponsor, which we're very grateful for. Lovely people as well. They were at our comp, Southend Full Send 2.0 comp, giving out samples and whatnot, and they've jumped on board as our presenter for this episode.
Mate, I fucking love this stuff. It's so good. Start my day with it. It's very common for don't eat till 12. Fuck that right off. Get some granola in you as soon as you wake up. It's a beautiful start of the day.
Aren't all granolas super
and it's
sugary?
vegan friendly, so supporting the vegans.
Yeah. Aren't all granolas super sugary, mate?
Yeah, traditionally, yeah, I would say. But this one here, I can read it to you right now. 2.2 grams per serving.
Yeah, I was fishing for that answer. They've told me it's the lowest sugar granola on the market. So
that's low as and tastes good. Still, you don't want it tasting too sweet. You're not eating a bowl of Frosties. This is good for you.
We don't have Frosties here, but
no.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't?
The days have changed since eating anything like that for brekkie, surely. Yeah. Bit of yog.
Cocoa Pops.
Bit of granola. Yeah, it sorted me out this morning. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But yes, thanks to them for jumping on board.
Thanks, Cura.
All right, team. This is episode 8. Our 8th episode. This will be our last recording of the year of 2024, which is pretty crazy. We've stuck to it. Well done to us. Pat on the back.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk about our current training, as in myself and Jacob, what we're up to, and a few bits around that. So I'm going to start it off by asking
Go on, mate.
Jacob over here, who you may know, what's your current training structure, and how is that leading towards your goals, if any?
Yeah, so we thought it'd be interesting to talk about this to start with because Jack and I are your typical average Joes. We're quite athletically meh, aren't we?
Yeah, I would
sometimes
say so, yeah.
Sometimes really surprises me.
Yeah. Sometimes members ask me like,
how average?
When do you train, or what do you train?
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah,
this is your
just
go.
like, I feel like, yeah, anyway. But yeah, we train hard and we always try to push ourselves in goals and stuff, but we're not anywhere near high level performers. So just a little caveat on that.
I would say our personality isn't defined by our goal to be the fittest.
Like, you want to train hard, push hard, but I want my body to feel good.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So answer to your question is my long-term goal is a UTA 22 trail run, and that is in May 17th. I have a good mate flying over from Perth, and he's doing it with me, and that's 22k with a little bit of elevation in there. This is like 1,300 meters of elevation. So that's my overarching goal for next year.
It's in the Blue Mountains.
Yeah. So what I'm doing at the moment is my general structure is 4 CrossFit sessions a week, focusing sort of strength and like that sort of high intensity kind of training. Then I'm doing 2 training runs on top of that. Nothing crazy, around that sort of 7 to 10k, and then a easy bike. So I'm doing like around about 7 hours at the moment. 6 to 7 hours of training a week at the moment.
That easy 7 to 10k run would do me over for sure.
Yeah, but it's like, what I mean is like generally flattish and kind of zone 2-ish.
Gotcha. I've been out the running game for a little while now, and I actually had a planned run the other day. I didn't tell you about this, but I went to pick up my scooter because it was parked in a nearby suburb, so it was about 4k run. And I had been thinking about it all week. I didn't really want to do this run because I don't like it. It's hot.
Yeah.
But I thought I may as well do it. Got to go get the scooter. Anyway, I was out of the shower that morning and had my leg up on the vanity, as you do, to dry your leg with the towel.
Oh, that's an image.
It was early. No, I coached that morning as well, so it was early, and I was walking to work because I didn't have my scooter.
Yeah.
So a few factors. Really early, it slips. My foot slips, and then I whack my knee on the basin.
Yeah.
And I was doing my best not to scream at whatever time it was, 5 a.m. in the morning. And then I was just thinking, fuck, I got to walk to work now. I got to run to my scooter later. Perfect timing. So that's my, I think that was.
So you didn't run, is what you're saying?
No, I ended up doing it.
Oh,
I pushed through it. Very brave. But I think that's the running gods telling me, it's not for you, mate.
Yeah. No, you're not. Yeah, I don't know. You just need to keep pushing through that initial.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like I feel like people often stop with running before they actually get past that initial point where, like when we run, you're talking about your hip flexors and your quads, and that's just your body adapting to running, and that will take probably 6 months or so of like consistent running.
Yeah, you really have to pace into it, right?
And you'll come into niggles, like ITB, slight knee issues, shin splints, or maybe a bit of plantar stuff. You kind of have to sort of run through.
Yeah.
To a point. And then and people kind of get sidetracked by that and then stop. And that's kind of what has happened to you, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think for me, for example, like you said, I would try and go for a run with you or see like these paces that people put up on, like people who they think they're just, it's like an accountant on Instagram putting up his running paces or her running paces, and it's way faster than you can do. So I think because so many people are getting into running as a trend at the moment, people get caught in the trap of trying to run too fast too quickly. And
you need to run, like for you, you'd need to be doing 6 minute Ks, like 5 to 7K a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
To start with. Do that for a couple of months, I would say, probably.
Yeah.
Until your body starts. Yeah. If it was one of your goals or.
Yeah. Which it currently is not.
It's not, no. What is one of your goals?
At the moment, my training has shifted a little bit again. So for the last 3 or so months, I've been doing our bodybuilding program 4 days a week, and then just
so that runs alongside the CrossFit program.
Yes, yeah. So our program that we have at Southend, we have a bodybuilding track as well for people to either use as an extra or as a alternate option. Which I was doing 4 days a week and then doing 1 to 2 CrossFit classes. So, which was laid a really good foundation. My strength is a long way up. My tendons and my joints are all feeling fairly good. And then now my shift is focusing towards my wedding, which is mid-February next year, a couple months away.
Yep.
I'm looking to just lean out a little bit now and then increase my CrossFit capacity as well as we get towards the open season, which is slightly after that. So
why did you only go 2 sessions a week CrossFit?
Because my main focus was the bodybuilding stuff.
Yeah.
I was enjoying that a lot. I was looking after my body a little bit, but it wasn't enough conditioning. I was starting to get a little bit too much body fat and a little bit of like one of the main things of doing our CrossFit classes is doing the class with all the people and the coaching and that sort of thing. So just falling away from that too much.
Yeah.
It was in a very busy period of work. Like we had the renovations and stuff at the gym. So it was kind of just like I could fit in 30, 40 minutes either side of knocking out some tiles in the bathroom or whatever. So that's kind of what I was doing. But now I'm committed to 3 bodybuilding sessions and 3 CrossFit classes a week, which has been feeling really good. With taking that time off, or that less volume of CrossFit, it means I'm having to adapt again to the stimulus. So what I have been doing is, which is hard to do sometimes, like putting my ego aside a little bit, and maybe even, so I have a rule where I don't do any of the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
I only do either RX. So even if the advanced option looks more fun than RX, and I can do the movements and the weights and that sort of thing, I'm just sticking to RX and no more, even if it looks like a better session. But even sometimes more recently, to look after my body a little bit, because I was just starting to get a couple of niggles again because of that time I had where I've not been adapting to the stimulus. I've even pulled back on the RX weights or movements a little bit. And that's just to allow me to make sure I am training consistently. Because what I could do is say, oh no, I'm an RX guy. I'm not budging on that. And then that might end up being that I get either too sore or a minor injury or something and not train. So I'd rather be training this and hit this goal of training volume than say, no, I'm an RX guy.
What's an example of that? Can you remember like recently when you've done that?
Last week I did, what did I do? There was a shoulder to overhead in the workout, which was meant to be 60 for RX, I think. Yeah. And I went 50 kilos. Yeah. Which felt good, and I was able to move that nicely, good range of motion. And instead of bar muscle ups, I did a mixture of bar muscle ups and chest to bar pull ups instead of trying to wreck myself and do all.
So why did you scale that though? What were you worried about?
Mainly I have a long-term shoulder niggle on my left shoulder. Yeah. So I knew that by staying in control and being able to do nice reps rather than those reps that tend to be a little bit fruity, I would say, when you get under fatigued, I wanted to be in control the whole time and make sure my reps looked and felt really good and deliberate, which they all did. I had a plan. I stuck to the plan, stayed unbroken on the shoulder to overhead, nice full range of motion, no pain. And then on the muscle ups and the chest to bar pull ups, I was able to maintain good technique and limited pain.
Yeah, nice. And then afterwards you were like, was it one of those where you're like, oh, I maybe could have gone 60?
Yeah, I definitely could have gone 60. But I don't know whether that would have looked and felt the same. And it also meant that I came back the next day and trained really well.
100%.
That was the main thing.
I think it's really good for people to hear though, because like you own a CrossFit gym. 2, you're very capable of doing. You can do a lot of the advanced workouts, but you've also that isn't your goal.
No,
your goal is to get in there, join the class, but like you want to enjoy it, you want to feel good, you want to next day you want to get up and be able to move. Where some of these, like, because how we program, we use Star Strength, which is an Aussie-based training program company, and how we use them is that we have a RX Advanced and then an Open. So it's like RX is like you're prescribed, Open is just scaled, and then Advanced is more on everything. And we're getting to a point in the gym now where the Advanced is, I'm not having a bar at that.
Yeah, it's very advanced.
Like the volume, the loading.
Yep.
And we're not trying to break people. That's just kind of where our members are at.
Yeah.
Like we've got
some really advanced
how many do you reckon?
people.
Like 10 to 15.
Yeah, it's about that range of people.
And the mistake we used to make was just having an RX and a scaled, which is pretty standard in a lot of programming, I would say. You have your RX and then you just have a scaled version. But the issue you get there is that the RX then becomes not advanced enough for some guys. Then you make the RX more advanced, and then it's too advanced for the RX guys. And then you get this weird, like, in-between.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what we struggled with for quite a while there until we've started implementing those 3 different categories.
Otherwise, people look at it and go, oh, I have to scale every single movement. I'm never doing the... as programmed.
So now instead of RX used to be like, that was what everyone's trying to go for now. RX is more, we try to make it approachable for your more average Joes and coming in. So it's not silly, but it's still challenging. Yeah. Like today's workout, we had 3 rounds for time, 400 meter run, 14 power snatches at 40 kilos and 25, I think it was 30 for girls, and then 9 strict pull-ups. So that's a perfect, like, RX workout. Yeah. You know, the loading's fine, and you got your strip pull-ups, which is, you know, feels good on the body usually, but still hard, right? Still challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
And then at advance, he goes to 50, and then you got ring muscle-ups in there instead. So it's like a quite different.
Yeah, quite a jump up. Yeah,
quite a jump up from your strip pull-up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think doing the structure that I have, I would definitely encourage people to try and offset like some of their intensity sometimes, and being more deliberate towards how they're feeling, with the mindset of training consistently and more, rather than wrecking yourself and not being able to train for a few days. I just want people to be able to move often, and that's what I've been implementing with myself, with coupling the bodybuilding program and the CrossFit classes, because I know for myself, my body has never, and you know this, training together, my body has never responded really well to high intensity all the time.
No.
Which I don't exactly know what that is, but some people really adapt to it well. Like we've got mums that train 6 days a week, fairly intensely, which is
Gabby, the smaller.
Yeah, so impressive. But for myself, I know that doesn't work, which is why I need to modify the movements and the intensities of each day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
because it's not an age thing. It's just how people are. Because like when we started training together, how old are you? Like 27 or something.
Yeah, something like
that. And you were struggling, and we'd be doing like 5 days CrossFit, like just full froth, wasn't it? And you would be struggling.
Perpetual soreness.
At 27,
yeah,
you know. So now it's just like, I feel people use the age thing as an excuse a lot of the time.
I think it's more dependent on the person, and there's still factors like lifestyle factors that affect it a lot. Obviously, back then I definitely wasn't respecting my sleep at all. Yeah, which nowadays I am really trying to shift towards. I still like my sleep habits are a lot better. Like caffeine intake during the day, I moderate way more than I used to do, like not drinking caffeine too late and not drinking too much. I get to bed early and that sort of thing, but it's still, I struggle a little bit with the quality of sleep. Still, like, not last night, the night before, for whatever, like I think I fell asleep probably at 9, woke up wide awake at 2. Yeah. And then you just start like thinking about work and whatever else. And then I eventually got back to sleep, I think around 5:30 for an hour or something. Yeah. Last night I took a melatonin, so I'm trialing that out a little bit. I don't want to get dependent on it, but melatonin.
How much do you take it?
I think it's a 3 milligram tablet, which isn't the weakest, but it's not the strongest either, apparently. And it seems to work a little bit. I'm not like trying it on a regular schedule, but last night I had one, and I still woke up at 4:30 or something like that. Naturally, which is
we were messaging at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, which is a little bit earlier than I would have liked. Still, like I feel groggy today a little bit, but at least I slept deeper through that night. So, trialing out with the sleep, like I thought, if I just sort my sleep out, if I drink less, that was one thing. I used to drink definitely way too much alcohol, which it's a lot less now. Yeah, like next to nothing most of the time. So just dialing that sort of thing in is helping a lot, and just modifying my training, like I said, is on the right path, I think. But like I've been doing this a little while now, and I've still got heaps more to improve and learn on, which is good. It's just about listening to your body a little bit. And
with the with you changing with the taking your ego out of it and reducing the weight and the movements, how did that go? What was that thought process like? Because I think sometimes we can get caught. I know definitely a few years ago I would definitely get caught in I need to be a certain level of fitness or whatever it is. Yep. What was that thought process of, like, because you can move 60 kilos all day, but then moving that down to 50, and then in front of all the members, do you feel like it's just...
Yeah, there's a little bit of hesitation. Like, it's like, are they looking up to me thinking that, not up to me, but like looking at me thinking, he should be doing the RX at least. But
I think there's a way. So if you're scaling it because the movement and you're still trying and putting intensity.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. It's when people are scaling because they're just taking it easy.
Yeah.
I think that's where the issue.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I think I just try to think logically about it, especially like I said, coming back from not having the conditioning, from not doing as much volume. Like it makes total sense and people get caught in this as well. Like someone takes 6 months off squatting, obviously they can't expect to be using their same percentages, right? So I figured it the same way as I shouldn't, if I've taken this much time off volume, I shouldn't be able to just go straight into what I used to be able to do consistently, because even if I do and I'm capable of it, then I'm just going to, I know for sure after years of making mistakes, trial and error, that I'm just going to be way too sore and potentially get an injury and not be able to train, which is not my goal. My goal is to train more. Yeah.
And I think also what we're doing a reasonably good job at is looking, when we're in the gym, at it as the business rather than us. Like I see it all the time, like gym owners trying to flog themselves, trying to be competitive, trying to race members, trying to be this, trying to be that, whereas we're actually in there for trying to build a community and trying to make sure everyone's enjoying themselves and everyone's having to getting a lot from the session rather than it being about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're still there to train hard and stuff, but it's like it's the bigger picture rather than what fucking Metcon time you got.
Yeah.
Like no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, we're definitely okay with not being the fastest or the strongest.
Yeah,
right?
And it feels like, I always feel like you've been really good at that, of leaving your ego and seeing it as like the bigger picture, really. I definitely struggled with it previously, but it's something the last year or two I've definitely and it got a lot better at, and it feels so good when you get there.
Yeah. And I actually love sharing that with members now. Like I probably would have previously not like really spoken much about it, but I actually love like telling a member who might be struggling with soreness or injuries or whatever, like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And this is why I'm doing it. Yeah. And it's allowing me to train more days, be in the gym more. Like if you feel like doing CrossFit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is too much, either dial back, maybe do the open weight or a scaled weight in the middle day, or do the bodybuilding program that day or something like that. So also, I love giving these options to them.
Yeah. And also,
from experience,
I think coming from our perspective as well, we can look at it like, if I use that workout we done today, for example, you've got your snatch, which is putting your arm into that compromised position anyway, in that wide grip, which if you haven't got good mobility is sore for a lot of people. And then if you're going from there, then into a big kip on the gymnastics bar, then into a muscle up, that's a very compromising position for your shoulder again. Yeah. So you're going from and if you got, you've been doing it for a while, your shoulders are healthy and stuff like that, then that's fine. But if you're newer to the sport, or you have underlying issues, it's going to be too much. Like choose one or the other. And that's why today's RX with a strict pull-up works well with that compromised shoulder position.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the strict pull-ups are just a little bit more friendly on the shoulder joints, rather than moving dynamically through the bar.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's where the advanced, then they can do that and it's fine.
Yeah. With yourself, you've got this top end goal of the trail run, but that's also come with you've dropped down your running frequency a little bit and upped your CrossFit frequency. How have you found that with your body adjusting to that? Yeah, and also your training motivation.
Yeah, it took a while because I kind of focused running for a bit and then got back in CrossFit, and it's just like, you don't use it, you lose it, right? And I was picking up, I was getting so sore and stuff. But
the Echo bike, if you don't use that, mate, I was on it a few weeks ago after avoiding it a little bit. Mate, so
I was finding more like with gymnastics, just like toes to bar volume and stuff like that, But I really like classes is what makes CrossFit. Like I fucking love being in a CrossFit class. It's so good. it's just enjoyable from a start to the finish. So I've been doing like I said, 4 of them a week, and I've been loving that. And it just completely takes the head noise out of training. Like, we train a bit by ourselves just because of coaching and work and stuff, and I definitely notice a complete difference.
Yeah.
Once I'm from the class.
Yeah.
Like a class, you're like more in the zone.
Yeah.
You're just like training with people, like-minded people, and you've got like a knowledgeable coach there taking you through the class.
Yeah.
And like, we've been doing it for a long time, but you're still getting cues and pointers
100%,
and so on.
It's exactly why our members like doing the classes, right? It's exactly what we try and
so I'll
promote.
always do CrossFit classes, whatever my goal is. It might be reduced, but I'll always do it for sure. Yeah. Just because it's just so much fun. You get so much value, and also you do so much in an hour. It's insane.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like how much you get. And it doesn't feel rushed, but it's just like, because everything's deliberate.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're by yourself, like you're on your phone for like, could be like 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and you have to motivate yourself to start the workout, whereas it's all kind of just set up for you, right?
Yeah. So
takes the thought out of it.
Yeah. So running got pulled back because I'm a bit like yourself. I'm a bit injury prone. So I can't just go out and run 5 days a week because I will get injured 100%. So I've just been trying to ease my body into doing two runs a week, but plantar in my right foot is not going away, so it's hanging about. So I'll be staying on twice a week running for.
Is that getting a little bit better? Not really.
A little bit. It's a very frustrating injury if anyone's suffered with plantar. It is pretty bad.
Yeah, because you're always on your feet, even if you're not running, right?
Yeah, like if you do a 4-hour coaching as well, and then the next day it's like wake up for a piss in the middle of the night, and I'm like hobbling to the toilet. It's bad.
I saw the other day there's some special socks you can buy for it.
Yeah, there you go. That'll cure it.
Have you tried investing in some of them?
Special socks. But I do like. I think running is definitely something I would like to like. For me, like the combination of CrossFit classes and running is like my perfect combination, with a bit of bodybuilding sprinkled in there.
Yeah, nice.
Because like you just can't beat it. Like we saw, I went up and saw one of our friends, Brad, on the weekend, and we ran together. We just done like a 9K trail together, and it's like you're doing it, and you're just like chatting and stuff like that. And then we're about 3 or 4K in, you're just like the endorphins are going, and you're just talking about some serious stuff. You know what I mean? Like in a good way. I mean, but it's almost like it's like therapy in a way. You know, like we're both like opening up and talking about. Like we're both suffering with a bit of grief at the moment. It's just like you both start like talking a lot more than you would if you were just sat in a cafe, or even like, you know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, you see it all the time. Members connecting over suffering, right?
Yeah,
like because they can suffer together.
Suffer together.
They start opening up.
Yeah.
Inhibitions are down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think it just like that sort of exercise, being outside as well, and
nice.
Start talking, but that'll be for another podcast.
What's how's your diet and your supplements and all that sort of thing? Are you a big dieter? Nutrition?
Diet's an interesting one. I've tried a lot of diets over years, obviously. Where I've landed now is I train hard 6-7 days a week. And I eat in a healthy way. So I've tried not eating breakfast, for example. I don't like that. Like it can make me feel good, but I mean consistently, I like to have breakfast. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like to have something in the morning. You know what I mean? And then I'll just eat, and I don't like to be hungry really, so I'll just eat so I'm not hungry. And then wherever my weight lands, it lands.
Right.
And I'm not really worrying about the weight on my scales. I know I spoke to you for a while. I was getting a little bit like, because I was running, I was trying to get my body weight under 90 kilos, because I was like,
it helps.
I'm running against these fucking cunts who are 70 kilos or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got 20 kilos on you. You know what I mean? So I was trying to get that under, and it's just, I just don't know how much benefit for how much work and effort I need to do to get my body weight under 90.
Yeah.
I just don't know if there's much gain for it for the level I'm at.
I see.
If I was doing it for a living or whatever, it might be different. But so yeah, so I jumped on the scales literally yesterday, 94.5.
Yeah, right.
Madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to put a post up actually on my Instagram about it because I think it's quite a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Like eating sensibly, consciously, so you're not overeating, but you're also not reading too much into it. You know, I think having some general principles is good. And that might, you know, whether that relates to your breakfast, lunch, or snacks or whatever. But being obsessed about scale and being obsessed about what weight you are, I don't think it's a healthy position.
Yeah.
And that beneficial, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Haley, my wife, go back and forth over the weight
on the scale.
Yeah, since having children and stuff like that. And it can be a strong motivator, but most of the time it can be quite toxic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a tricky balance, isn't it? Because who knows if you're gaining muscle, who knows? It's more about how you feel,
yeah,
how
it's
you're moving.
It's so hard, like, yeah, because when I jumped on the scales, like, it was like 94.5. My initial feeling was, you fat cunt.
Yeah.
Was my initial thought process.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? Yeah, I avoid the scale because of that.
But then I took a photo, like, with me just in my shorts in my bathroom when I done it, and people
creepy.
Yeah, it's a bit ick, but whatever. I'm doing it, mate. It's, you look at the photo and you'd probably be like, oh, he must be thinking he's doing all right, yeah. But in your head, you're like,
yeah,
fat useless prick.
Yeah, when you got on the scale.
Yeah,
different world.
And because it's quite irrelevant, really, the scale. If you're feeling good, if you feel good, and you're a normal body weight for us, which we are.
And feeling good comes from, like, and you feel that because you train a lot, you feel it in your performance, right? For sure. But
you just tell when you're feeling heavy and like
you don't move as well.
When
you
that
get a bit sluggish.
Presses against your your belly fat.
Yeah, band seatbelts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now for myself, I'm the scale.
Because you've gone back. You've gone back and forth with scales.
Yeah, it's tricky with the diet thing. Like, I know for myself, like, it's like I said, my main goal now for this next 2 months is to lean out a little bit, and that's purely because I want to look better, look leaner. You
want to look good for wedding photos, which are going to be around forever.
Yeah, and I'm going to be in a suit, so it doesn't really matter so much. You can cover it up, but
you want to be feeling like you've done.
Yeah,
everything.
I want to be feeling lean. Like, I'm
sure the shirt will be off on the dance floor later.
Yeah, that's true. That's anyway. A good point. Like, I think I'm in the gym too much, and I eat so many good meals.
Yeah. To
still be feeling not lean enough. So for me, it always comes back to when I fall on and off it. If I can track my food just on 2 categories, total calories and protein intake, if I can hit those 2 targets and that's it, then I can see the results clearly.
What's your general overarching goal on the calories and the protein intake?
My calories is 2,600.
Yeah,
I believe, if I checked my app. And I'm aiming to get somewhere pretty close to...
You'd have to be quite conscious about that, wouldn't you? 26.
Yes, yeah. And the reason I do that is because, which is probably not the best protocol, but it works for my lifestyle and sanity a little bit, is I go a little bit lower on during the week, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm not tracking on the weekends, which I could probably balance that out a little bit. And that's something I wanted to actually try and talk to a nutritionist next year to learn a little bit more about what I could be doing to make that a bit more balanced. But I go a little bit lower during the week to allow for that extra expenditure on the weekends. But I know if I prioritize my protein intake, which I do mostly through meat,
Yeah.
And I'm aiming up near 200 grams a day.
Yeah.
Don't always hit it, but if I get up close to it, that's I'm pretty happy with that. And I know if I hit that, I'm well under my calories and I'm pretty full as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I just have those two things as a goal during the week, then I find it a lot easier to lean out. Whereas if I don't track those things, then you start to just lie to yourself a little bit. Even if I'm eating really good meals most of the time, you end up just going overboard a little bit. And that's when I get to a position where...
Yeah, see, inconsistency. It's not a coincidence that people who are in really good shape usually eat the same, very similar meals at very similar times.
Yeah.
If you're sporadically just all over the place and you've got no sort of like general plan in your head of when your next meal is coming, you're usually going to make a bad decision on that.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not always ideal with people's lifestyles and work and so on, but having a general plan, I don't think a strict plan necessarily is good, but having a general plan of at least starting the day, try to start the day right.
Yeah.
And then have some sort of idea of like lunch, snacks and dinner rather than I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
I need something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that, like I said, I want to dive a little bit deeper into just for my benefit. And I'd also like to somehow get this sort of information to our members a little bit more as well in some capacity. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to be, but I would like them to have some benefit if they want it.
Nutritionally, you mean?
Nutrition advice.
For sure. It's definitely something which we've, like, I feel like we don't provide because of maybe like a knowledge and lack of like, feels like it's kind of not our place.
Yeah.
But it's such a massive component.
Yeah. I think if we can lean on an expert to provide it, then that's probably how it's gonna happen, because we have so many people that train so hard, right?
Yeah.
And it'd be great for them to be able to feel better in their training and in their bodies if they wish to feel a little bit different.
Yeah, and then you're like helping for the full package there a little bit more, right? Yeah. And you're like ticking more things like which we can affect. There's a lot of things in their lives which obviously we can't. But nutritionally is something which we could.
For sure.
Maybe a bowl of Cura.
Yeah.
Be a good start.
Grab some Cura. It's not a bad way to start.
Yeah.
I had a bit of Cura and I had a bit of creatine this morning. That's the only supplement I take. Just because people say to take it. But that's another one. Like, I'm not even consistent on that. Like, the tub will run out. Yeah. And then it'll be like 2 weeks until I get the next tub. It's hopeless with that, but trying. Is there anything else you wanted to add on your training, mate? Or sleep, nutrition, supplements, struggles?
Granola. Yeah, so, I mean, we could go down this rabbit hole. I don't know. Do you want to go down the rabbit hole? We'll leave it for another podcast, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it. Leave it there.
Leave the rabbit in there.
Yeah, leave a rabbit in there.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.